Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's McKinley Crain here. Today, I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of the movie that I watched a couple of days ago, which is the 2008 drama comedy film Ghost Town. This is a movie about a dentist named Bertram Pincus, who's played by Ricky Gervais. Who is excellent in this movie, by the way. And this dentist, Bertram Pincus, is an a-hole. He's supposed to be like an a-hole. He's rude. He's selfish. He's just a bit sociopathic. He only cares about himself. He's sassy. He's a lovable a-hole, and the movie tries to make him an a-hole. It purposely tries to make him an a-hole. He's not really that nice to anybody. I mean, he's not like evil, but like he's like a sarcastic, cruel biatch, if that makes sense. Like he's an a-hole, and the movie purposely makes him an a-hole. And so one day, like, he goes to go get a colonoscopy because he's getting to that age. And we're like, it's encouraged to go get one of those for like everybody. And he dies during the colonoscopy, but like he immediately comes back to life. It's like one of those they brought him back to life, and then like he didn't know that at first. He finds that out later, but after his colonoscopy, he discovers that he now has the ability to see and talk to ghosts, that no one else besides the dead can see. He is pretty much the only living person in this movie who can actually talk to ghosts. Because, he died and then he came back to life, and you have to die to talk to the ghosts, according to this movie's logic. And he died, but, he came back to life, so he's still, living, but he can still talk to the ghosts. And when the ghosts, when the ghosts notice this and find, just notice, like, hey, this guy recognizes who I am. This guy sees me. This guy notices me. They start to constantly follow him around and won't leave him alone. The thing about ghosts in this movie is, if they're still on Earth, it means that they haven't fulfilled something that they need to fulfill in order to make it to the afterlife, and they can't really do it on their own. A lot of them can't really do it on their own because they're ghosts. So basically, they all start following him around and basically just bothering him and asking him to do stuff for them that they're not able to do, so they can make it to the afterlife. And one particular, and the main person who's doing this is Frank, who's played by Greg Kinnear. Who is also a selfish a-hole, but he's not really as selfish as Bertram is. but he is like, you know, an a-hole, like, you know, he's like an a-hole character, and he is selfish, but, you know, he's not like as rude um as rude and, like, you know, sarcastic when he talks to, like, you know, characters in this movie, like when he communicates as Bertram Pincus is. But, like, you know, he is, like, you know, selfish and an a-hole, and, you know, the movie expands on that. That theme is, like, you know, explored, is explored even more as the movie, well, more and more as the movie goes on. And so basically he is just recently deceased, and he basically believes that, you know, what will make him, you know, make it to the afterlife, and what will make him happy is to make his not really his wife anymore, because, you know, like, make his widowed wife break up with her, like, new partner, and hopefully find somebody else. So basically he convinces, like, you know, Bertram to do that. Like, you know, he basically tells comes up with a plan for Bertram to just try to, like, you know, like, befriend his recently widowed wife, whose name is Gwen, who's played by Tay Leone, by the way. And basically, like, you know, kind of like, you know, Greg wants Bertram to kind of, like, you know, like, just sway Gwen away from her new partner, just to turn her against her new partner. And so basically Bertram agrees to this, and he agrees to this because, well, mainly because Greg told him that, like, you know, if he didn't, like, you know, help him, you know, Greg would, like, constantly bother Bertram for, like, the rest of his, like, you know, living life. So, you know, he agrees, and he befriends Gwen, and then he starts to fall in love with her. This is technically a rom-com. And he starts to fall in love with her, and, you know, that creates problems, and, you know, the movie goes on from there. And that's basically the whole movie. You know, them trying to, like, you know, like, you know, Bertram trying to sort all this, like, you know, out and make everything work the way he wants to, and also, like, try to, like, make himself a better person. And it's a great movie. It's really fun. It's got great performances in it. All of the performances in here are great, but the best performance in this movie is from Ricky Gervais as Bertram Pincus. He gives the best performance in this movie, although the whole cast is great. I love this movie, and I love all the characters. Bertram is like I said, a likable a-hole. He's a very great. I blanked out there for a second. Sorry. He's a very funny character, and this is a very funny movie. The humor in this movie works. The drama in this movie works. The humor and the dialogue in this movie are cleverly written and smart and just great. This isn't a perfect movie. Nothing in this movie is perfect, but everything in this movie is great. It is a great movie. It's just not a perfect movie. It's a really fun movie. It can be heartwarming at times. It can be very heartwarming. It can be very emotional. It it's just a really great movie with really lovable characters and really great twists and turns and really smart twists and turns and clever twists and turns. Um, and you know, the character chemistry in this movie is spectacular. It's great. Ex- Greg and Bertram, and you know, the chemistry between Greg and Bertram, and the chemistry between Greg and Gwen are both equally great. You know, the character chemistry in this movie is just great. You know, the chemistry between Bertram and Greg, and like I said, the chemistry between Bertram and Greg, and the chemistry between Gwen and Bertram are both equally great. And this movie, like, you know, since it's a rom-com, you would expect it to be hackneyed and you know, cliche and stuff like that, and predictable. And it's actually mostly unpredictable. It's a little bit predictable, but like, you know, when it is predictable, it's predictable in a good way. Like, you know, that benefits the movie and benefits the movie story. And the same thing goes for when it's unpredictable. When it's unpredictable in a great way, and it benefits the movie story. And it's just a great movie with great performances, and it's a great Ricky Gervais movie, and it was a little better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be great. I just didn't expect it to be, you know, as great as it was. It was a little bit better than I expected it to be. It's a very smart and clever and humorous film. It was very funny. It's a very funny movie, and it can be very relatable at times, and you know, that relatable in a way that benefits the movie story. And I love it. I'm gonna give this movie an 86% out of a 100%, which is the equivalent of an A minus. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.